Alright YouTube, what's going on today? Today I'm going to be doing a video where we go to the moon. But before I did that, I just wanted to go over a little bit of construction design for the moon. To get to the moon, it's going to take a lot of thrust, and you're going to need a lot of fine-tuning once you get there, so you're going to need ample fuel to make a few mistakes, because you're always going to make mistakes. And on the outside, just basic stage. Booster rockets on the outside, simple rocket on the inside. The boosters are actually shorter than the main rocket because I just wanted to save a little weight, because boosters that are larger would probably be a mess. And these things on top, I just put them up there because I like them. They look nice. Also, I'm planning on not having enough fuel in the main rocket to get my orbit completely to the moon and be safe doing it. So what I did is I added these second fuel tanks. These are the only ones that have rockets with these fuel tanks, but these are just additional fuel. The way I work that is I use what's called the fuel line. Fuel line part, it is in structural and aerodynamic, and it's right here. And what you do is you click on it, select the symmetry that you want, click on the tank that you want fuel to come from and then to. It's very important. It can't work the other way around. It only goes one way. But anyway, with that, I think I'm going to take off. Oh, wait, I just wanted to add one thing to the staging. I want the main rocket, to fire at the exact same time that the booster rockets come off. So I just pulled the rocket icon down from this next stage down to here. And I'll add this last stage up here because I don't want it getting in the way. Alright, that should be fine. We're heading to the moon. Let's get out of here. Alrighty. I can't see the moon from here. And that lag is due to it loading in. And we should be able to go. A little bit of wobble, but that's pretty normal. Also, in the sense that it's pretty top heavy. But as usual, I'd like to angle to about 70 degrees. You can't even see the fuel tank extensions. Alright. Looks really nice from in here. I'm still not quite comfortable piloting from the inside, but I'll get there eventually. I don't know, I'm just really used to being able to see it from the outside and make sure that nothing's going wrong or anything exploding horribly. Any massive failures, I really enjoy being able to do that. So let's get an angle just a little more. The green icon is usually a good indicator, except if you follow it all the way, it's not gonna be as efficient as it could be. But we also go over here, check on the map. Apoapsis is about 25,000. Good. Back in, ready to switch to the next stage. Hopefully no explosions. 3, 2, 1, go! Well, that was one explosion, but it doesn't really matter. And I'd also like for the rocket to stop spinning. Cool, there we go. Oh, we're doing swimmingly. Alright, let's tilt about 40 degrees and SAS there. And if you've been wondering what this overheat means, don't really worry about it until it gets to the top. If it gets to the top, the part will explode. But that really is not an issue unless you have, say, 3,000 booster rockets all pointing kind of in the same direction. Yeah, they're going to heat up and they're probably going to explode. That's just, I don't know, it just adds a little extra array of realism. From here, we can actually, the fuel that I moved is up to the top, so it's a handy gauge up there. From here, I think I'm just going to burn a little more and then wait till I get to the apoapsis to burn the rest. When the apoapsis hits about 100,000, I'll stop. So pull up this, and that should be good. Alright, and turn off SAS, because otherwise it gets butthurt and won't warp. How high are we? We are about... Alright, we're out of the atmosphere. And there we go. Alright. Stop. Actually, this is a good opportunity to show the RCS. RCS is basically just tiny thrusters on your rocket, and you press R to activate them. You have to build them onto your rocket, because you just can't put a... you just can't activate rocket thrusters on a rocket that doesn't have thrusters. And as you can see, it's just blasting out just a little bit. And here should be good. So from here, we'll just SAS. And actually, SAS, if it's advanced SAS, it will turn on the RCS on its own if you have it on. I mean, it'll use it on its own. But the best thing that SAS can use is the actual motor itself. Got a little bit of wobble, but that's just the SAS overcorrecting. We want to make sure we don't fall back to Earth, because that would be unfortunate. And I don't think that this thing is the main stage is going to get us to the moon on its own. We're going to have to call upon the rest of the landing stage to do the rest of the work, which is fine, because since I built in those extra fuel tanks, that should go well. And those fuel tanks are designed to come off at a certain point. This thing, the main stage, has a little bit of trouble getting us to an appropriate orbit, considering that I added a lot of weight with those extra fuel tanks after initial testing proved that it was not that good of a design. So what we'll do is we'll just get to an orbit. A very common rookie mistake when playing KSP is that people will often just try to burn straight for the moon, and you don't do that. That's not how it works. Oh, we just ran out of fuel. Cool. Let's activate the next stage. And here we go. Gotta be careful with that burn. We don't want it to burn too fast. From here, this should be fine. We have a good orbit going. Alright, and from here is where we're going to burn to the moon. Now you want to burn in a direction that will take you about where the moon will be, and you know that's where it'll be because it's about 45 degrees off. And this orbit actually right now should take us to the moon, so I'm just going to keep burning. Take thrusters up all the way because there's really no reason not to. We actually fell back into the atmosphere a little bit. That's not great. You don't want to do that. I really wish I could warp through all this changing of the orbit. In fact, I think I'll just cut it out in the final video. Alright, and I have moved it down just a little bit to talk to you about something. In the, I think it was 0.15 update, they added the ability to predict where orbital bodies will be and when you'll intersect their gravity well. So once you get, or your projected orbit gets within the gravity well of where a planet will be, it'll show it. And it should be showing up here in a second. It'll be called Moon... Oh, there it is. The Moon Encounter. And that'll be in about 5 hours. And here's where you got to be careful. You really do not want to warp too fast because you will probably miss the moon. It tends to lag a little bit when you go in or out of warp, like right there. And if I'd been going any faster, I probably would have missed the moon. So, got to be careful. Going over. And we're about to make the encounter in about 57 minutes, so we'll speed up a little more. Alright, and we're there. Cool. And this is showing that we'll go back into Earth's gravity in about 3 hours, so we need to, we don't really need to work that quickly, but you don't want to waste too much time. So what you do is you turn to the new retro burn symbol. It changes based on what planet you're orbiting, and burn in the opposite direction, and you will see an immediate change. This will immediately come around to about where you are, and that will be your new orbit. Some people like to orbit the moon a couple times before deciding where to land. I don't do that unless I'm actually trying to land somewhere specific. And there are multiple reasons why you might want to land somewhere specific. There are certain Easter eggs on the moon, which I don't really want to spoil too much. I might show them in later videos, but I don't want to spoil them. And you also might be wanting to rescue downed Kerbonauts on the surface. Alright, actually these tanks are empty, so we can jettison them. So, goodbye tanks. Oh, that looks so cool. I love it. Oh man. Oh, we got a nice little lunar eclipse going on here, or close to it. Alright, at this point what we are going to do is we're just going to wait. And by wait I mean time warp. Until we get closer to the moon. And as you can see, we're moving a little faster now. A little bit of lag, but not too much. We're getting closer and faster, and we need to go a little more. I'd usually start your burns, depending on what kind of engines you have and what the mass of your ship is. I'd recommend starting counter burns at about 100,000, which is now. Oh, lordy Lou. It just lagged quite a bit. Yeah, we can still save this, don't worry. We just need to act quickly. So what we're going to do is we're going to orient ourselves back into the retrograde orbit. And the retrograde orbit marker is wonderful for landing, because basically you just point your nose at it at all times, and you'll land, or it'll kill all horizontal movement, and you'll land almost perfectly. It's wonderful. Actually, for those of you who are watching in HD, you can see something over there. Something maybe interesting. Might have to go check that out. And I have on this ship, because it's a lander, equipped these landing legs. And you deploy landing legs by either right-clicking on them and selecting deploy, or you can just press G and that opens them up. And I'm trying to be careful with my burns because you don't want to burn too quickly. You'll get stuck up in the atmosphere, stuck above the moon, and you'll have very little fuel. But you don't want to burn too slowly because you'll, essentially become a meteor, and you don't want to become a meteor. That's never fun. But we have a steady speed decrease here, but we're also coming down at a nice rate. Very good rate, actually. That's generally a pretty good indicator of how fast you're coming down, but it is also mixed with the speed of your horizontal movement, so you can't always trust it as your vertical movement indicator. Yeah, this planet is going to go fine. Just need to stop spinning a little bit. I'll actually turn on RCS so we have a little bit more control over the rocket. Alright, we're about 8,000 meters up. I'm going to burn a little faster now because it's starting to worry me just a tiny bit. You never want to come down too fast. Coming down too slowly, yeah, it's alright if you have enough fuel to spare, but coming down too fast is an instant death sentence. I'd prefer if this thing didn't rotate. It's kind of starting to rotate on its own. It's pissing me off. Alright, decrease burn, because that's like the rest of our fuel. And there go our little pieces. Coming down about... Now it's a pretty good indicator since we're not moving horizontally too much. Stop rotating. Very gentle coming down. Very, very gentle. Spacecraft are not exactly tanks. Not yet, anyway. Oh, we're close to the surface. to go up. I don't want to go up. I want to come down. Nope, I don't want to turn off the engines either. That would not be good. Stop turning off the engines. Landing freaks me out. Oh, there's a shadow. There's a shadow. We're coming down. And we're down. Oh, bit of a hard landing. But we're on the moon. Awesome. And since we have EVA, why don't we get these guys out for their first moon walk? And feels good to be the captain of the giant leap for Kerbalkind. Let's get you, Jebediah Kerman, out. And let's descend onto the moon. Alrighty. And drop. We are on the moon! Yay! Jumping. Yeah, moon gravity is really low. If you, yes, you can activate your jetpack on the moon. You can activate it mid-air, actually. Same controls as I detailed in the orbital tutorial video. If you watched that, if you didn't, they are WASD to move around horizontally, and Shift and Control to move up and down. And when you're on when you're on bodies with more gravity than the moon has just not enough gravity. But if you're on the Earth or the Mars equivalent, which is called Duna, you can sprint. But you can't do that on the moon or any bodies smaller than the moon. I don't want to make this video last too long, so I think I'm just going to get this guy back in. The other two don't get to walk on the moon because, I don't know, they're peasants or something. I don't care. Let's get him back in the capsule, and we will return. Now, returning, you don't need too much fuel to return, but it always makes me feel safer to have more. I had to jump because the ladder itself doesn't come close enough to the ground for me to just grab it, so I have to jump up there. Alright. And board. And the way the thing is set up is that we'll take off using the remaining fuel in these pods, and then they'll separate off when they're empty, and we'll just take the capsule back as this thing right here. Hopefully we'll have enough fuel. Let's see where we are. I think I'm just going to orbit, come back here, burn towards the planet, and then once I get to the planet's orbit, I will do a retro burn, and that will bring me back down. You know, I haven't actually done a moon landing for a while, and it's not nearly as hard as I remember it. I guess I'm just experienced now. Alright, out of fuel, so... And here goes the final stage. You don't really need to get too much altitude over the moon. I'd actually just hit about 30 degrees. And we'll watch our orbit, sure, why not? These things are destined to crash back onto the moon. They're not making it back with us. We have plenty of altitude. Let us get a horizon, and we'll just warp to the apoapsis. Fire engines again. Now obviously there's much less gravity on the moon, so it takes much less speed and power to get a good orbit going. Fuel is mostly just the biggest concern in this first part of getting an orbit set up. About 75% fuel. Okay, we have a good orbit going. I'm just going to wait until about here. Burn back. Alright, good. No, we don't want to be pointing at the retrograde burn. We want to be pointing at the prograde burn. And there we go. Engines on. Let's go. As soon as we get decent ways off of the moon's gravity well, it will display the Kerbal encounter, which is right about there. And then that's the apoapsis. We'll wait about 3 hours. Coming on back in. And connection. So we will do the same thing. Go back to the retrograde burn. Hit SAS, burn. And the periapsis will sink quickly. Very quickly. Even faster if I have the throttle up all the way. Periapsis close, fuel good. I'd say this is a pretty successful mission. Alright, and now that the orbit will bring us back, that's going to take us about, I don't know, just time to warp, I guess. Let's warp high. No, I want to go back into the moon's orbit. Oh, Lord! Well, that was incredibly stupid. The warp went too fast and I crashed into the planet. But from that point onward, it would just be separate, parachute, landing, yay. Well, you got the gist of the video. I'm happy with it. Alright, well, weird ending aside, I think I'm just going to end this video off here. So, I will see you guys all later. Bye.